Hi, my name is Adam and I'm a first year chemical biology PhD student. I've been in grad school for 6 months now, and so today I'd like to share some of the things that I've learned about grad school since beginning grad school, because graduate school has turned out to be a very different experience than what I had thought it would be, largely for the better, and I want to share some of that today. So for anyone who might be considering a PhD program or is in the process of interviewing for a program early this year, here are 10 things I've learned about PhD school since starting PhD school. Number one, grad school can actually be very fun. I was a research technician for 2 years before starting grad school, and I would say unequivocally that the experience of being a graduate student is way more enjoyable than being a research technician. Personally, I think that's because I feel like the work that I'm doing is really for myself instead of for someone else. Like, everything that is part of this process is for my own betterment, for my own research, for my own career, and that feels amazing. Two, classes don't matter. Every grad program is a little bit different. My program is very course light. There's only 4 classes that we need to take, and it doesn't matter how many you need to take, they don't matter. Like in undergrad, your grades matter because they're gonna go somewhere, they're calculated into your GPA, but it doesn't matter. At the graduate level, your grades don't matter, so it's really just about absorbing as much information from the courses as you can, because like the actual numbers of how you performed in the class are not gonna go anywhere. No one's gonna look at that, so they don't matter. Learn as much as you can, but don't spend too much time worrying about them. So that leads into number 3, which is that being a grad student, I find, is more like being an employee and less like being a student. So comparing the day-to-day tasks or the work or the schedule of being a graduate student in like a science-based PhD program is more like being an employee, like when I was a technician, rather than being a student in undergrad, because you have like a 9 to 5-ish work schedule. You're doing bench work all day. You're not just sitting in lecture halls. You have a boss or multiple bosses, and you are treated much more as a peer and an employee and an equal than like a subordinate student, like when you're an undergrad. 4 is that if undergrad is like a novel, graduate school is more like a choose your own adventure book. So undergraduate, you pick your major, your courses are lined out for you, you do them, you pass them, you hit all your requirements, boom, you're done. With graduate school, it's very much more of like everything that you want to do, you have to pick for yourself. You choose your own course of which kind of research you want to pursue, which classes you want to take, who you want to associate with to learn different techniques and stuff to get to your end goal. And that's very much all on you, and it's very flexible and it's very open. There is no pre-prescribed course, and in that there's a lot of freedom, but there's also a lot of responsibility. So you can do whatever you want, but you need to really push yourself to get whatever you want done. And that point directly relates to number 5, which is that grad school is entirely what you make of it. It's an experience that can be as positive or as negative, as difficult, as easy, as fun, as dreadful as you want it to be. It's entirely based on your attitude, work ethic, and goals. Anything that you want to go achieve for yourself in this process, you can totally go get. You can work with whoever you want, you can learn whatever you want, but you need to have to take that initiative, because no one's going to tell you what you need to learn, and no one's going to give it to you like when you're an undergraduate student. And as part of that comes in number 6, which is to be selfish. Don't be a dick, but you have to be selfish. You have to go and grasp all the opportunities that you want to have in this process for yourself. You know, like PhD programs generally range from like 4 to 6, maybe a little longer years. And so in that time, it's a lot of time, but you have to be very clear about your goals and what you want to achieve and what you want to do, because the whole point of this degree is that it's a building block and a launching point for the rest of your career in science, no matter what that may be. And because it's so open-ended and so personalized, you need to look out for yourself, and you need to go and grab all the opportunities that are available to you, because there's plenty of things that you can do and plenty of opportunities available, but you have to go and grab it for yourself. No one's going to give it to you, so you need to be selfish and really put yourself first without being a dick. Number 7 is one of maybe the most important things, which nobody ever talks about, and I didn't know until I got here, but I really wish that people would say something about it because it's so important. If you're a grad student and you're paid through a compensatory stipend, you don't pay FICA, which means that in your stipend paychecks that are what you live on, you're not paying into Social Security and Medicare, which means that your take home after taxes is much higher than what at least I had expected it to be, because I had done all of the math of what I had thought that my graduate income would be based off of what my research technician income would be, but nobody told me, and nobody seems to talk about the fact that if you're paid through a stipend, like the majority of PhD students are, you don't pay into those sections of taxes. But it means that your take home from your graduate student stipend is much bigger on a like pay period basis than what it would be if you were just a regular employee. All right, the last 3 points are kind of mushy. Number 8 is that your cohort really does become like your family. I did not expect that starting graduate school. I didn't think that the people that I would be entering with would really become people that I would be very close with. My incoming class this year is 13 people, and we all get along very, very well, and we've become a very tight-knit little group. And it really means the world, because to have those people around you who are right there, like in the same boat as you, going through the same process, experiencing all the same challenges at the same time, moving at the same pace, really, really provide a lot of relief and support, and they really mean the world. So, class of 2019, love you. And by the same token, number 9, your friends outside of graduate school are invaluable. When you're completely enthralled with work, lab work, rotations, classes, all of it, all the time, having people that exist completely outside of that world really are like everything, because they provide such balance when you're feeling super stressed, super overwhelmed, can't stand to do like one more experiment, to just leave and then hang out with them and be completely removed from the world that's causing you all of your like anxiety at the current moment. Really is a godsend. And the last thing that I've learned about grad school since starting grad school is to not let yourself become jaded. This seems kind of obvious, but it is definitely can be very hard with the length that a PhD is and the number of challenges that are presented to you in that time. It can become incredibly easy to get very jaded, very negative, very down on the program, down on your school, down on your lab, down on yourself. And doing so, allowing yourself to go down that road, which is a very hard road to come back from, will only cause you more agony. The only person you're hurting in that case is yourself, and there's really no point in going down that road. Like, I've definitely seen a lot of graduate students who are in their 4th, 5th year who have definitely gotten down on themselves and are not super happy with the position that they're in. And I'm very early on in the process, so I can only imagine that after doing this for a very extended period of time, it gets incredibly hard. But just to be able to keep yourself positive and believing in your decision to pursue this degree and believe in the path that you're on and the work that you're doing, holding all of that in mind just makes it all so much easier and allows you to keep pushing yourself and moving through the process right until the end, because on the other side of that is the rest of your whole life. So there's no sense in being incredibly down on yourself for just what in reality is a very small window of very long life. So that's it. 10 lessons I've learned about graduate school in just the first 6 months. Good luck to everybody who's interviewing in January, February, March of 2020. It can be incredibly stressful, and you will doubt yourself a lot when trying to commit to a graduate program, but just believe me that if it's right, it'll be right, and everything will be okay, and it'll feel excellent. Trust the process and believe that you'll end up in the right place and that everything will be right.